Hey everybody, it's Ryan. I'm here. I'm so sorry. My laptop was taking forever. I think I'm gonna have to eventually get another laptop, which was not looking forward to paying that expense, but eventually. But for now, at least I closed all my. Yes, good evening. How is everyone? I hope you guys are doing great. Tonight, I think you saw the agenda, but if not, I'll pull it up. We're just going to do a little week in review. We're going to start with talking about Pride Week. Happy Pride Month, which will be awesome. But yeah, I just want to pull up the agenda here. Yeah, since my computer was going slow, I figured if I closed all the windows, maybe that would help. Hey, allô French, bonsoir. Comment ça va ce soir au Québec? Oh, je dois toujours chercher exactement où tu vis. Oh, yes. I was just telling in French, if you don't speak French, that I still have to look up where he lives. He told me yesterday, but I was on the live, so I didn't, and on my phone, I didn't get to look it up. 23. What's that? Is it your cat again? C'est toujours ton chat qui tape? Is your cat typing on the keyboard again? That was hilarious yesterday. Oh, Charlevoix Crater. I'm going to look that up, actually. Yeah, Montreal has a nice big Pride parade. Yes, I don't know if I saw the parade, but I was there for one of the prides. In French, it's Fierté, they call it. Fierté, Montréal. Yeah, Montreal's a really cool city if you've not visited. I love to go to practice my French, but it's like you can do pretty much anything in French or English. It's a really cool bilingual city. Charlevoix Crater. Okay, I'm gonna look that up. And yes, your cat, your petit chat. Okay, let me pull up this screenshot here so you can put our agenda. Wait, how do I just? Oh Lord, okay. No, I just want the screenshot. I don't want the actual live. How do I do that, you guys? How do I do it? Oh, you know what? That's okay. You know what I could do? I could just, you know what? Let me just go. I'll open it like on the computer. I'll open the image. But yeah, how is your how is your dimanche? How was your week, French? And that's what I could leave the YouTube open for if it doesn't take up all of my poor computer's memory. Oh, that's weird. It says 4 people watching, but only French and myself are showing up. See, I'm still learning how all this works. Oh, I forgot. Okay, never mind. I didn't download it there, so I can't show it there. Let's do maybe. Oh, what if I open it on Facebook? Oh boy, that's going to use a lot. Oh, it says temperatures to plummet Wednesday. Come on, computer. You can do it. You can do it, little buddy. Oh my God, this poor computer, you guys. Okay. I'm going to go outside because I just mowed the lawn and of course, you guys can come sit with me. No, Microsoft, I don't want your news thing. Go away. How do I get it to go away? Oh my God, you guys, this is going to drive me nuts. Okay, I think it works now. Oh, yeah, much better. It's nice and cool out. I like this weather. You guys like early spring, summer? Wait, let me see. You said, oh, it's not nice but cold. Maybe because the other participant did not write yet. Yeah, I don't know. See, I thought you could see who was viewing you even if they didn't write. But anyway, regardless, bienvenue, bonsoir, welcome, good evening. Yeah, I was just trying to pull up the agenda, and it was a bit slow. But there we go. I got it. I'll pull it up via a Facebook post. No, it opened my YouTube, which I guess is good. But I just literally just went to see the post. Oh my god. No, don't save it. What if I see more? Okay, what if I oh my goodness. Okay, you guys, I'm frustrated, so I'm just gonna do this. I know it's not gonna look the best, but I just wanted to have that up there. It's the teacher in me. I like to go over what we're gonna go over before we go over it. Now, can you see it? No, I gotta add it in. Okay, there we go. So, bonsoir. Yes, I hope you all had a great week. It was very busy here as always. For our weekend review, let's talk Southland tonight. I'm wishing you all happy Pride Month. So, bonne fierté, I think we could say in French, right? French. As you know, this is a huge deal in that not just on the federal level, but around the world, the state, the local level. It's hard to be LGBT a lot. That is, my mayor publicly accused me of being a pedophile. Falsely accused. Hey, Foxy. Hey. Good evening. Partly because that plays on a lot of people's stereotypes that they still have, that if someone is gay, that means they automatically are someone that abuses children. Now, not that there aren't gay people that have not abused children, but actually, if you look at the statistics, most child abusers are white heterosexual males. White heterosexual males. I say that because it's interesting, because they're usually also the ones that you most often see gaslighting people like me. Now, in this case, Clark is not white, but he is male. But you'll see, that's where you see like the 75-year-old white Republican senator that sponsored an anti-trans and an anti-LGBT marriage or some rights bill that is arrested for soliciting sex from a man, like in a bathroom stall or something in an airport. You know what I mean? Which, like, okay, that's fine if that's where you want to meet people. Like, I'm not going to be mad at you as long as you're not hurting anybody. But here's the thing: is that you deserve to be exposed because you're trying to go after gays and make their lives difficult. And here you are, like I said, usually it's some older white gentleman that supports these horrible anti-gay crusades and laws, and then when their wives are sleeping, at 2 a.m., they're on Grindr and the other apps looking to hook up with a man. So it's really sad. We've come a long way as the LGBT community, but we still have a long way to go. So just a reminder that, don't fall for the gimmick, that the trick that the rich do to us. Remember, we all should be in solidarity as workers. The rich, those that control the corporations that basically rule most of our lives, they want us to fight each other based on race, income, age, sexuality. Because if we ever came together and realized that they're trying to, sorry, the doggy, that they're all trying to make us slaves and extract as much money and work out of us as possible. Like these rich people, like the Jeff Bezoses and Elon Musk's and what's his name, Microsoft guy, Bill Gates. This is what I'm talking about. Like the people that, like, do you guys realize even if you just go to the grocery store in the US, did you know most of our big grocery chains are owned by, I want to say it's like 3 companies or something. I mean, it's crazy how rich corporations are trying to control their lives. So I've noticed that is something that they're always trying to, through the rich owned media, they're trying to get people irate and fighting each other, because if we ever came together, we would notice that we have so much power and we could actually get democracy, fairness, Medicare for all, to get, people everything they need, food, shelter, clothing, healthcare, all the things that we have plenty. Did you know there's no lack of resources in this world, but we're all fighting each other because, someone says you shouldn't like gays or you shouldn't like black people or whatever, what have you. And if we all came together and made sure that everyone got the resources that they needed, there's no lack. I mean, just look at the amount of food that's thrown away every day in the world. It's crazy. So anyway, just wanted to throw that out there. I'm not going to dwell on that too long, but yes, happy Pride Month. Woohoo. So go celebrate, go tell someone, if you know that they're LGBT, go tell them you love them. Regina covers the mauling. So we've talked about this horrible mauling in Harvey, but I wanted to pull up, let me pull up Regina's coverage. Let me actually see if she has the full video posted yet. She might not, but if nothing else, I'll pull up the photos. Let's do NBC5. So thank you to Regina Waldrop. You may have seen her. She has covered a lot of Dalton and Thornton Township. She actually grew up in Harvey, she says. And, we've met before. She has covered corruption and other issues here in Harvey before, but she actually, when I met her, she's like, oh my God, I grew up there and my family knew your family that owned this grocery store, Wasso's, in Harvey, because thank God my relatives were such kind people that, sometimes if they couldn't afford groceries, they would give them groceries on credit or something. And I'm like, oh, that's so, it's people like that are really my inspiration. Let's help the world. Let's make the world a better place, right? Okay, yes, I found it. Okay, so you guys saw, I already had covered the meeting. The meeting we had where the mayor was extremely disrespectful to that lady whose sister lost her foot in a mauling in Harvey, because for 6 years, Mayor Christopher Clark, that you all saw, Jedediah interviewed on Thursday. Okay, you saw how rude he was to me and the other people that called in, and that was like level 1 or level 2 for Mayor Clark. Like, that's nothing when it comes to rudeness and just, the contempt he has for people. It's sad. But 6 years, the mayor has not enacted proper animal control. So we've had animals just roaming the street for that whole time. This lady wasn't the first one mauled. Thank God she just wasn't afraid to speak up about it. A lot of times people don't want to call the police. They don't want to you don't want to get attention. So I'm glad that at least this woman is letting people know that the city is under Mayor Clark is not doing its job. So this is Regina's report. Let's take a watch.
With an NBC5 exclusive about a terrifying dog attack that ended with a woman losing most of her foot.
This happened last month in South Suburban Harvey, and this morning that woman had her 7th surgery. As Regina Waldrop reports, Donna Hale says her life will never be the same.
Watching TV and see something about dogs or something like that, and then that'll make me think about it.
The it Donna Hale is referring to happened April 14th in this area of Harvey. She says she was walking back from a friend's house, and when she reached the end of her block, that's when she felt something touch her.
I turned around and then I saw the 2 dogs. I fell walking backwards, and then that's when they attacked me. One grabbed my leg, one grabbed my shoulder, and they just started mauling me.
Donna weighs 125 pounds. She says those dogs dragged her up and down the street like she was a rag doll. No one responding to her cries for help.
And all I could do was think, am I actually getting mauled by these dogs? Am I actually
Thank you, friend. Ugh, that's the one thing I don't like about my dog, and he barks so loud, so that's why I muted it. Thank you. Merci. I was just saying Regina is probably about the same size and weight. I want to say she might be a little smaller actually than this mauling victim. Hey, Wyoming, how are you? I was just watching Conscious's video on the Super Server. By the way, I didn't finish it, but that was on my list to watch. Hey, Diana. Hey, Ryan. Has Alderman Rogers said anything? Good question. As far to my knowledge, no. I don't think he said anything. And that is something we should talk about more, Diana. Thank you for mentioning that because he's the alderman, for that ward. And remember how he was very quick to say when we had our last city council meeting and the mayor cleared the chambers because someone clapped. And he was quick to jump in front of that camera and say how fabulous the city is, how great the mayor is, what a wonderful job they're doing. And this happened in his ward where there's, regular prostitution, drug dealing, dilapidated homes. And it doesn't mean I don't want to say, remember, I want to be reasonable. Okay. It doesn't mean that, even if I were mayor, or if anybody was, it doesn't mean that you still couldn't have a mauling or you still couldn't have animals, either get run over or hurt other people or other animals. But the point is, we know, right? Yeah, exactly. He's supposed to live somewhere over by where the mauling happened. And he's been really quiet. I mean, that's just horrible. Like, how are you even doing your job? You don't care? At least come out and tell the public. They didn't even tell us that it happened or where it happened or when it happened. Like, what if you lived, anywhere in Harvey, but what if you were nearby? Like, and what if multiple people had gotten mauled? Like, it's just insane. So he's the guy with, remember Foxy was making fun of him with the gray hair. And he had his, the line from his hair and stuff. That's Tyrone, the one who's been credibly accused of very serious crimes. Like not like the mayor accuses me of stuff that I didn't do, but like the he's an ally, Chris Clark, and Tyrone Rogers has he and his wife. Well, his wife was found guilty of a felony for it was some fraud related to finance, money, taxes, but yeah. So what do they say, that oftentimes accusations are confessions? This is what you find very often with these types of folks, So anyway, that was a good point to raise about that. Yes, let's keep watching.
is this really happening? And suddenly, I saw a light, and I didn't know if it was coming from up above.
The lights came from two vehicles.
He saw them mauling me in the street, and he flashed his lights and he blew his horn, but they never stopped. He shot one of the dogs, and I just heard, "Ah!" And then they both ran.
Another driver showed up and called 911.
Now, I'm not going to go and play the video right now, but I want to stop here to make a very important point. Someone mentioned, and I have to review it to be absolutely fair to the police chief, but I believe it's true. I thought he said that the Harvey police shot the dog. But anyway, regardless, we don't want there to be any confusion. Harvey police did not shoot the dog. Okay, they were not there. They weren't patrolling. They didn't see it. This was a bystander that helped her. I just wanted to make that clear. He was the same one that said no one was boarded up in that. Right, exactly. Well, it wasn't a hotel, but there were apartments where people lived. But we had video that showed that someone was in there. Even though I know some people were like, "Oh, but that was staged. It wasn't really that." Yeah, but okay, then where's the proof? As far as we know, that guy really was in there when they were boarding it up. That was a whole fiasco. Yeah, and you're right. Tyrone did not respond appropriately. He said the Harvey police shot the dog, not the bystander. Right. Maybe you were the one that mentioned that, Foxy, because someone mentioned that. And yeah. So, yeah, Diana, can you believe it? There's still one dog that's unaccounted for. And the mayor said that in the meeting, in the animal control meeting. He said that. He said, yeah, no one knows where the other dog is. So be careful. Be careful. You know, I was just walking my dog earlier too, and he's a big dog. I'm like, oh my God, could you imagine? Like, I always got to keep your eyes peeled in Harvey.
And I'm glad that I did not lose consciousness.
Donna says she'd never seen the dogs before, but one was wearing a collar. The police report shows they were Rottweilers. One weighed 80 pounds. It also says first responders found Donna naked in the street.
The doctor was like, Donna, I'm gonna need your permission to amputate.
And I'm sorry, I don't want to keep stopping, but I have to clarify. Did you notice, I'm guessing it's because she's an NBC5 reporter, that was an official police report. Do you know when, I'm not saying that you'll never get them, but when we FOIA things like that, do you know how much the city of Harvey will ignore your email, delay, even when we appeal to the state's attorney, they don't care. They won't even respond to the state's attorney, or they'll take forever. Like that Regina got that police report fast. Okay. I guarantee you if I FOIA'd it, that wouldn't happen. So see what they're hiding stuff. I don't like it.
Your foot. And I was like, he said, do I have it? I said, yes.
Donna would spend more than a month in 2 different hospitals, undergo at least 7 surgeries.
Bites and road rash. It was awful.
She says when detectives finally came to talk to her, she felt like she was being blamed for the attack.
They tried to make it seem like I was doing something wrong, or it was something that there was a reason for what had happened.
I marched to the mayor's office after the detective was started.
Yeah, sorry, I have to stop again. So we already heard this in the meeting, but why would you victim shame? That reminds me of people that tell women, it's your fault that you got raped because you wore a tight skirt and you went out late to a club. I mean, come on, really? It's crazy. Do you know there's a lot of seniors that live over there? So it'd be nice to let the residents know exactly. And that's what Donna's sister Cheryl said. That's why she was so upset at the meeting. And I'm so glad she spoke out. Yeah, poor lady. Like, hello, we want to know what's going on. They tell us nothing, you guys. This is why we need help to expose what's going on in Harvey. We know nothing about any crimes. Like, we have to talk to each other to find out about stuff.
Started to victim blame, was blaming my sister for what happened to her. He told me Harvey's a dangerous place. Why was your sister walking down the streets of Harvey?
In a statement, a spokesman for Harvey writes, in part, both the Patrol Division and Cook County Animal Control conducted canvassing in the area following the attack. We're also aware of allegations regarding the nature of questions asked during the investigation. These concerns are being reviewed.
All my toes are gone. They're not going to grow back. I have to learn a new normal.
Regina Waldrop, NBC5 News.
Wow.
Jen, we are so excited to.
So that's just, it's unexcusable. So, but inexcusable. Sorry. I wanted to share that because I'm very grateful to Regina. So thank you again, Regina Waldrop from NBC5 for sharing. Now that was the video to the first portion. I wanted to see if they posted the second one. They may not have yet. Usually there's I've noticed they have a little delay. Okay, because that was 6 days ago, 3 days ago. Oh, that's another story we're going to talk about, but not right this second. Okay. Yeah, so I don't see. Oh, what's this? Wait a minute. Hold on. I just want to glance at this story. What is this about animal control?
We start here with Chicago Animal Care and Control dealing with a crisis. The shelter is seeing a surge of animals right now, and it was already stretched to take care of the animals it has. NBC5's V Wynn is joining us live at the shelter with a closer look at the problem there. V.
Alex, the situation is getting dire by the day. Staff here tells me they're seeing more and more animals coming in, being surrendered just this month alone. Today, we saw at least 10 people head to the intake office. Many owners are surrendering their pets for personal reasons, saying this is their last resort. The shelter at the Chicago Animal Care and Control is at capacity as they deal with a surge in intakes in recent weeks. Just this month alone, Animal Control says it's averaging 56 animals coming in per day.
It's hard. Compared to this same time frame last year, we were averaging about 42. So it's a big jump. And even from the month prior, it was at 54. So it was only a 2 animal difference per day. But with the limited resources that we have here, it does add up.
Staff and volunteers are doing their best to care for the dogs and cats still looking for their forever home, saying the surge is putting a strain on their resources and more. They even brought out these portal cages to temporarily house the animals.
Is this the worst that it's been?
In my experience here, this is the worst it's been, and I'm speaking to people that have been in the shelter business for decades, and they're also saying this is the worst that they're seeing.
This picture taken by CACC shared on social media shows the intake line last week from strays to owner surrender. The public information officer citing a number of reasons for pet surrender, including the economy and the rising cost of pet food, veterinary care, and even housing fees and restrictions.
A lot of landlords started charging higher, prices and tagging on fees to have pets. That could be anything from an annual fee to a monthly fee, and that does add up for people.
CACC says it's working with 100 rescue partners also facing the same challenges. Paul's Chicago is offering on-site diversion support along with CACC through its own program, providing free food and other pet care and necessities to help pet owners to find another solution like rehoming their furry friend.
We are able to divert a few just that we are able to get through, but talk to us before you even bring your family member to that line. There's resources that exist. We really should be, when it comes to owner surrenders, a last resort.
So the list of resources, we'll have it up on our website. Meanwhile, Animal Care and Control is reminding people to please spay and neuter your cats and dogs. Another adoption event will take place next month on the 14th. Reporting live in Pilsen, V1 NBC5 News.
V, thank you.
Oh, by the way, it's actually not as bad as you think. The other day I got into, you know how you just fall into these YouTube traps. Let me actually let Regina know. I'm going to thank her again for the coverage. I shared your clip. Thank you again. Okay, good. I went, when reporters do come and help, I want to be thankful. You know what I mean? Like, I know that the for-profit media world is not, it's not easy for any of them to navigate either. So, but I was going to say, I fell into a little hole and I was watching these animal grooming videos. Actually very interesting and educational. So anyway, French, you said we have a cat problem. The cats don't attack us. Right. They typically don't attack people as much as far as I know, but still, the really sad thing that I wanted to say, you see there's a problem with a lot of irresponsible owners. So we just heard about that, the shelter not having enough, space or what have you, but we have the South Suburban Humane Society here in Matson in the south suburbs, and our police are supposed to be able to take animals that they find on Harvey streets. If they get called, they're supposed to be able to take animals there. But because Mayor Clark and his staff don't pay the bills and have not paid the bills for so long, they won't take our animals. Now, did Mayor Clark tell you that in the meeting? I bet you he didn't. So anyway. All right. Unless anybody else has anything to add to that, I want to move on to Thornton Township. Bingo. Okay, just when you thought we were done with all the BS with the bingo and the spending money on all these social things, and
looks like we've told people liberty.
No, we're not done yet. Let me find. I'm going to share. So we had a township meeting last week. I was there to cover it, but Burgundy Blue found. I'm pretty sure she shared it in her video. Police are too busy watching me. It's I laugh, but it's true. They use, I don't know if you've seen the footage of our meetings, but there are usually between 15 and 20 fully armed officers at a city council meeting. Like, what the? We pay our tax money for you to respond to people when they're asking for help from, violent situations or, violent crime, especially, you know what I mean? And the mayor, they're just like the mayor stormtroopers, it's like what you see on the federal level with Trump, where these people, they're just loyal to Clark, and they'll just go around and harass me and anybody else instead of, who speaks up and has, saying, where's the money? instead of actually helping people. So we had a township meeting last week. Oh, she's got a cute intro. Burgundy, I need to work on mine. I love her. Ordinance 007 is the name of the video.
So just to be clear, so we have a new image ordinance that says that no elected or appointed official can use the township to promote their person, their slogan, their name, their image, or anything. And if they do, then they have to pay for those things. And so, again, we're just trying to make sure that the rules that are put in place are followed. That's it. We're not trying to say that anybody can be paid, but you have to follow the rules if you want to be paid. So technically, Thornton Township doesn't owe these people any image that has the supervisor's face name. She has to pay that according to the image ordinance. So we're not trying to...
Session of ordinance.
Now, pay close attention. So that was when they passed that. And did you hear all the? That's right, woo! Because people were had been stirred up, with all this anger at Tiffany. And I agree with the ordinance. Don't use our tax money to promote yourself. That is illegal electioneering. I don't care, especially you're from the Chicago area. You are used to seeing our tax money used to put people's names, elected officials' names and images on street signs. Welcome to the town signs, paper mailings, name tags. Oh gosh, I'm probably forgetting. I mean, you name it. They plaster all of that. In my view, that's all legal electioneering. I don't want to see your name or your image. Just do your effing job like you're supposed to. That's what you're elected to do. You're not elected to promote yourself with our tax money. So I think that was a great ordinance. Here, our question is, why did this ordinance that people were so excited about, why did they just repeal it? So let's see what happened this week.
Number 24-007, regulating the use of the merchandise personnel promotion of elected officials, appointed officials from the township, Cook County, Illinois. Seconded by Trustee Gonzalez. Clerk, please take the roll.
Trustee Stanley?
Yes.
Trustee Avant?
Yes.
Trustee Gonzalez?
Yes.
Supervisor Harris?
Yes. The motion carries.
And then what you told us about what was the personal?
Okay, so you just saw, and I apologize, she uses a little bit of my clip, and it was just the internet down there is horrible. But as you can see, there was no discussion, nothing. Yeah, the ordinance last, right. And Diane had said those meetings are stressful. You were talking about the Harvey meetings. Yeah, they can be. But don't be afraid. If we all stick together, it definitely helps to lower the stress levels. So the board had no discussion, and they rescinded the ordinance, the same one that everybody was like, woo, yeah, you go. Get that girl, Tiffany. She's so evil. She's using her money to promote herself. Yeah. Let's stop it. Now, did you see? They weren't even looking up. No emotion, no discussion, nothing. They sped through that ordinance or that the ordinance to repeal the ordinance that they had previously approved. But wait, you thought it was such a great idea before, but wait. So now you're saying you want people to use our tax money to promote yourselves because Tiffany's gone, but it's okay when you do it, but it's not okay when she does it. Now, I did ask Mary, one of the trustees, about it. Hey, Gardis. Hey, welcome. I asked Mary after the meeting, so let's listen to what Mary said.
Rescission of the ordinance of...
That means we cannot use township funds running for something else personally. Tiffany had her name on everything.
Yeah, I was
confused. Can't do that.
Oh, see, I was confused. I thought rescinding it was saying that you guys could use.
The ordinance was that she was doing it. We're stopping that.
Oh, okay.
So Mary just said that they're stopping it, but do you see how it's not very clear what's going on here? That doesn't sound right.
In the ordinance to do it. We're not going to do it. It can't be done.
Okay, most people thought you were repealing that's perfect segue to the next question.
We now believe is important enough to rescind. A bit confusing.
Yeah, and you talked to Trustee Gonzalez after the meeting, and
Did you get an explanation?
He offered a bit of an explanation. He said that it was time, rescinding the ordinance was helping things get back to normal. That it was basically paraphrasing, that it was an ordinance put in place to kind of rein in Tiffany Henyard, and now that she was gone, they don't necessarily need those reins, and we're not sure that's true.
This is why discussion is so important. I'm eager to see if
So we're gonna hey. so I agree with the Lansing Journal, and I'm glad that they're staying on this new board to say, so a rule is okay to tell Tiffany, don't use tax money to illegally electioneer, which means you're using tax money to promote yourself with the voters. Okay, so your image, your name on things, and we're not talking about like, okay, if you want to have a name tag, you want to have, the names of everyone on the main building or something, right? But like, I live right near the food pantry building in Harvey. Tiffany's name is still up there. I know they're going to be using our tax money to put Napoleon's name. I don't care. Why are you doing? That's a waste of money. Use that money. If we're going to have any township, period, which we should be debating about, do we even need a township, or should we be using our tax money this way? But if you're going to do it, use the money to help people. You don't need to plaster your name over all the vehicles, all the like there are did you guys know that there's like tons of township buildings that we pay for? It's not just the one in South Holland. You got the food pantry. There's a senior one in Riverdale. There's a whole bunch in South Holland that they use for, I guess, for like road maintenance and where they store other vehicles. And I'm sure there are others that I am forgetting or that I don't know about. So it's just really wasteful. So why is it okay to tell Tiffany, no, you can't do that? But now that this board's in, it's okay. That's what they did. They just got rid of those limits on themselves. So they said, okay, well, we're going to use tax money to promote ourselves. We need a bigger percentage of voters. Yeah, voter turnout is always low. It's an issue.
the minutes will be approved from the last meeting. We did have an attorney there. No one had discussion. So this is very interesting. And we heard from two different trustees what they thought rescinding the ordinance was. You heard it from the Lansing Journal, and you heard it from Ryan's Gate Chicago, when he talked to Trustee Avant. Trustee Gonzalez and Trustee Avant voted on the same ordinance, but we got two different explanations on what it meant. You guys take care of yourself and each other, and we're just going to keep pushing forward. And leave your comments below. What do you think? Bye.
Okay, so yeah, what do we think, you guys? How is this different? First of all, did you realize they voted at the last meeting on 3 budgets and in about $20,000 worth of events, including about $6,000 for a senior birthday party? And we didn't see any invoices. We didn't see any details. All we got was an agenda. There was no packet. There was no, all this stuff should be shared online ahead of time, because when we show up to a meeting, how can we even know as residents whether we should support or oppose something? We don't know what you're voting on. Now, Mayor Clark does that crap all the time in Harvey, and it drives me nuts. So why do the taxpayers need to see these people on flyers? Wyoming says exactly. And also, look, open your eyes, people. How is that flyer on your screen, how is that any different than, let's go back to Tiffany. How is that any different than this? Is it better because they said, oh, but it's fair now, look, because we have all of us on there? No, do your job. Stop promoting yourself. I don't want to see your name. I don't want to see your face. If you do your job right, when it comes time for elections, I mean, then, and pay your own money, obviously, to campaign and promote yourself. But then I think people will be happy to reelect you. Also, they even had a provision. Tiffany looks better. She was pretty good at putting flyers together, whoever did her marketing. But, if it's not right for Tiffany, why is it right for anybody? Why the double standards? And the fact that only 2 people, I mean, I was doing video, so I didn't do public comment, but only Paul and Dan Lee, I think, even brought that issue or one of the other issues up. But basically about like, hey, what are you voting on? That's crazy. Where were all the people that were yelling and shouting and screaming and everything because they were so angry about our taxpayer money being used to plaster people's faces on all sorts of things. See, to me, that's very suspicious. That says, so did people just go along with the crowd to be angry with Tiffany? Or did they not really know what they were doing? Yeah, audit, right. Oh, that's what they were doing. They're asking for the audit. Yep. Did they not know? They were just like, yeah, I'm going here because my girlfriend told me to come, you know, or whatever. Or were people doing this so it was like a fake outrage to get Tiffany out? And now that you know, the people, that the establishment, the machine, the Democratic machine, you know, has approved with their stamp. Now that they're in, that's okay. Let's just get rid of all the controls and all. You notice we still don't have an audit. They approved all these budgets and all the spending. 3 parties, no audit, nothing. It's been months. So what if this meeting had gone the same way? And instead, just close your eyes, you know, and plug your ears for a second and pretend that it was Tiffany running the meeting. It's all what she would have done, right? No discussion. They pushed everything through. There was no information handed out. So why is it right when this board does it? This is not a good way to start. Not a good way to start, new board. They all did. Wyoming Gal. Wait, sorry, what did you say? Frank Zuccarelli used taxpayers' money to have his name on stuff on those food boxes. Correct. Exactly. That is correct. Yes. So Frank is not, they want to just go back to the way Frank did it, but he was corrupt too. He wasted a ton of money and did things he shouldn't. They all did. That's right. Taxpayers didn't get their food boxes at Christmas time. Oh, right. Exactly. Yep. So how are we, without an audit, without really seeing the budget, without seeing any money, how are they approving 3 events when they were holding things up under Tiffany? So see, that it doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. It looks like you're playing favorites and saying, okay, now that we're in office, we can waste money and do whatever the heck we want, and we don't want you asking questions. Not a good look, guys. Not a good look. Also, I hate to ask it, but you know, maybe you guys disagree. Let me see, every 3rd Thursday of the month. But first of all, I want to know what the prizes are for bingo and how much they're spending. Okay, I think that was one of the things that was on the agenda, actually. But also, is that really the best use of our tax money? I'm not saying bingo's horrible, but like, do we need to host bingo games, particularly with, like, you know, for spending a lot of money on prizes? I mean, I'm all for, you know, hosting fun events and everything, but why do we have to pay money? Like, what about just playing bingo for? Oh yes, Wyoming Gal. Christmas was a big issue. Yep. And they held them up, right? They held it up. But now that they're in, anything goes, and they don't have to explain anything to us. This is not a good start. It's a very, very, very poor start. But I just wanted to ask that in general. I'm like, does anybody else think, okay, let's see. Supposedly we don't know how any of the finances are for the township. Supposedly there's a deficit. Things are not going well, and we don't really know where any of the money is. But now you're gonna have bingo, and where you're paying out, you know, you're paying all this money for prizes, you know, to buy prizes and stuff again, just like Tiffany. Like, why? Like, I mean, I would understand if it's something that you absolutely have to pass for the township to function, or if it's, you know, assistance, like, you know, giving people money for emergency housing or whatever, what have you. But like, none of the events that they approved to pay all that money for were anything urgent. They're the same things that Tiffany would have done. And look, and they're putting their pictures on it too, because they want you to know that we're giving you bingo prizes and we're giving you all this stuff. Like, no, that is not why you get into politics. And if you do, then you need to get out. Bingo is great, but those prizes were crazy. I played bingo once and won a can of green bean. Thank you, Wyoming. Exactly. Like, to me, if you're a government entity offering that, like, you know, and it's free, right? So it's not like it's not like if you go to a church bingo or a nonprofit bingo, you know, where they're doing it to fundraise, right? Like that, I understand. But it's free, so no one's paying for it anyway. So it's just tax money being used for it. Government is nonprofit, and like, we have limited tax dollars. We don't even know what the township budget looks like. So like, play some games for fun. Maybe have, you know, maybe just how about just bingo and have some nice food. I mean, you could easily feed a big group of people and even have some decent food that's like better than pizza, and it still wouldn't cost as much. I think they approved a few thousand for the prizes, and that's crazy. Maybe one of the good prizes are a dinner with one of them. Oh, I like that. Yeah, right. You get dinner with one of us stylishly posed people because we're so beautiful. And again, it's nothing personal against any of the politicians at all. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it were me that was elected and I was on there. I would expect people to be angry with me and say, "Why are you doing that, Ryan? That's wasteful. Don't do that. Just use the money to get the stuff done that needs to get done." So, all right. Unless anybody has any things to add on that, let us move on to. We're going to talk about how the transit boards are crying poor, which actually I think NBC5 had that, right? Shout out to Burgundy too. Thank you on my stuff. She shared one of my videos. What did she share the other day? We were talking about something. What were we talking about, Burgundy? Oh yes. Oh my God. Yes, she pulled. Thank you, guys. So if you have time, definitely go support Burgundy. Go give her a like and everything. Burgundy and Shoes. We're talking about the fact that Frank Zuccarelli also used taxpayer money to pay to put his name on everything. Frank was not a hero. Okay, guys. And I'm not saying he didn't do some good things. It's not, remember, this is nothing personal. It's nothing, we're not hating on anyone. We're just saying you need to be accountable to the people. That was the other video. So if you get a chance, go watch that video of Burgundy. And I think Choose Compassion was on that too. I don't know if anyone's been paying attention to the Illinois budget discussion, but they made an amendment to SD 2504 where it makes it easier to dissolve townships. Ooh, great, Guard. Yes. That should absolutely be on the agenda, especially after this public fiasco that people wanted to make about Tiffany. We should be talking about, do we even need townships? Most of the services like food pantries, they're great to have, but that there are government assisted food pantries in every one of our towns that I'm aware of. Well, maybe East Hazel Crest doesn't have one, or Burnham, because they're our smallest towns. But at least they're easy to find. They're all throughout Thornton Township. We have plenty. In Harvey alone, there are at least 3 or 4 that I can think of off the top of my head. So there are other food pantries out there that get government assistance, and they work with the Greater Chicago Food Depository. So we do not, let's be clear, we do not need a township for food assistance. We do not. There's already government and Cook County programs that help with that. So then the question is, okay, so then it goes to other things like housing assistance, mental health services, and the roads. The roads, definitely. There's only what did they say, 8 or 9 miles of township roads. Figure out a way to get those off the township books and give them to either municipalities or the county or something. Well, again, why do we need a township for that? So then you're just left with the general assistance. Now, again, I'm not saying get rid of that. Help people by all means. Please use our tax money to help people. We should, but maybe we could put that under Cook County or put that under some other organization or organizations that are already there. So why do we even need a township? Do you notice no one's asking that? Instead, they're rescinding ordinances so that they can use our tax money to put their image all over everything. Bingo's about bringing the community together. It should be about the prizes, maybe some gift cards. Right, exactly. Yeah, like here. Oh, you won Wyoming. Here you go. Here's a $5 Starbucks, It's not that much, but hey, it's nice. It's a nice little incentive, but it's not breaking the bank. Gardis, I saw a bit of it, but hard to understand for me. Yeah, same. Sorry, my dog is being ultra needy, so he's wants to get in my face. Does that mean we will save on property taxes? To my understanding, yes. So if you look on your property tax bill from Cook County, you will see the portion that goes to the township. So it's not going to save you. It wouldn't save us all a huge amount on our tax bills, because most of our tax bills typically will go to the school districts. But still, it would it's something. It would make a difference, right? And hopefully that tax money what's really important is that tax money or the tax could either be lowered and or they could just take that tax money and reallocate towards to make something else better, you know. Townships on paper look great, but when people get involved in good ideas, things are exactly. And that is why the Lansing Journal, like what I'm saying, I know Dan Lee and Paul Roberts made comments. If we don't have enough accountability and transparency at every level of government, you can take the smallest little, you know, board that you're like, oh, what did they even do? And it's like that lady in Dixon, the small town of Dixon, Illinois, you know, who she like embezzled over the years, like millions and millions of dollars. Like so much can go wrong and they can steal so much and ruin so much, even on like the smallest boards or in the smallest towns. Hey, Pa. The township is dissolved. Other taxing agencies, MWRD, mosquito abatement, etc., will say they need the money. Probably, yeah, right. Like I would love to see them just get rid of the township and then lower our tax bills, even though it wouldn't go down a huge amount. At least it'd be something. But yeah, that's the problem with we have no accountability for these taxing boards. They always are asking for money. Gardis said HB 2515 mandated the dissolution of townships with populations less than 500. So eventually it's coming. They're already ready to dissolve town. Good. I don't know what you guys think, but I say do it because this is the problem. What do you see? Every chance we give these politicians to have, you know, to spend money, they dismantle, like they just did at Thornton Township last week. They dismantle the things, the guardrails. Okay, so it's like, you know, you're driving on a highway. They take off all the guardrails because they just want to do whatever they want. And so, you know, unless we have limits and lots of checks and balances in place, it's true. It's just another form of government that's being used to waste instead of help. And don't get me wrong. I'm a leftist, so I'm all for government programs being used to help people. But you need to have accountability and you need to have transparency. I'm not a laissez-faire libertarian, you know, who's like, oh, that's okay, everybody, just, you know, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. You know, there's nothing wrong with help. Like Social Security works great, Medicaid, Medicare, expand Medicare for all, like give everybody health care, you know. But we're not talking about this stuff. The services that the township does, for the most part, could easily be taken over by other jurisdictions. So, sorry, I want to get some more comments here. Think about how much will be saved with not having to pay TT employees. I bet payroll. Yes, exactly. So even after, think about that. This is what I want to remind you guys. For all the government boards that we have, this is why accountability and preventing waste and not Doge, okay? That was just a rich person trying to gut the government so that he could take over the government contracts and stuff for himself. That's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about really getting rid of waste and stuff. There are people, they never work. They just bounce from board to board, job to job, and they get their pensions, and that's it. So even after they are gone, they've never actually had a real job. They only like get elected, or their friends appoint them or hire them, and it may even be a ghost payroll job, or maybe they don't even really do much or show up, but they still get a pension on that. So even after they're gone, we still pay. Oops, I'm sorry. Sorry, you guys. I'm getting behind here. Come on, go up. I had to get some water, and it was getting a little chilly outside now. So. Knowing Cook County, even if they dissolve the township, they will still make excuses. Right, exactly. Like, it's all the boards need more accountability. No lawyers and no accountants being paid. Save money. Yes. And Diana agrees with you about that. Yes, exactly. Totally. All right, let me go back to NBC. So if some of you have not followed it, We have all of our transit boards here in Chicago. We have Metra, which does the commuter rail. We have Pace, which does mostly suburban bus, and then we also have CTA, which does bus and what do you call it? Rail, light rail in the city. And then we have the RTA, the Regional Transit Authority, which is supposed to be over all of them. And I can tell you through my experience in just advocating for Harvey and different projects, all those boards are run mostly by appointees. They make a ton of money. They get their buddies a ton of lucrative contracts. And they not only, sometimes I'm not saying that they don't give us some transit service, okay, but they waste a lot. They compete with each other. So we have cases where, for instance, Chicago pushed to the CTA and the state to apply for, I think it's now ballooned to about $5 billion to build just an extension to the Red Line that would end somewhere like not quite in Dalton, but not too far from Dalton. Instead, we could have paid a fraction of that in the millions. I don't even know if we would have gotten to $1 billion just to use the Metro Electric line, which is already exists, and turn that into, and it already goes through a lot of our communities, including Harvey, and turn that into a rapid transit line. But those boards, they want those fat contracts, okay? Because remember, their buddies are getting paid. That's one. Two, all the boards, they compete with each other instead of complementing each other. So Metra is typically very pro-suburban. And, and so then the city will use, the city mayors in Chicago usually like CTA. So it's like they fight with each other, like, well, no, we want this to be our service for our people. And then, so it's crazy. We're trying to give public services. We're trying to get people places. We're not trying to compete and see who can get paid more in contracts. Okay. I think it was in a city near Chicago that moved itself from a township, not positive, but I can't remember which one. Yeah, that could be. I know I can say Evanston Township dissolved. I found that online. Evanston is just north of Chicago. Evanston Township is no longer exists. I wonder if businesses have to pay a tax for that transit. We do already pay a lot of taxes for transit, yes. Most of the appointees have no transit experience, and they all make 6 figures. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. That's exactly what I'm saying. And I've been down to talk to, I think all of them except for CTA. But yeah, the boards, they're horrible. They try to intimidate you. They hate when you come for public comment. They schedule their meetings during like a weekday morning because they don't want to hear from you. It's horrible. Sorry, let me get you guys to this tab.
New taxes for anyone using rideshare and tollways. It's the political news of the night. Just two of the ideas that are being proposed to bridge the $771 million budget gap for mass transit.
We talk a lot about this fiscal cliff that these transit agencies are facing. Political reporter Marianne Ahern is here to break down the talk going on right now in Springfield and how to pay for it all.
Stefan and Allison, yes, the new fees, an extra 50 cents at the toll booth, and there is pushback from both parties.
We've said from the beginning, no funding without reform.
Senate Democrats have a new plan to fund mass transit. According to Cranes, there would be a 10% tax on ride shares, like Uber and Lyft, in Chicago, Cook County, and the 5 surrounding collar counties. All tolls in the state system would increase by 50 cents, and it would cost more to sell a home in our area. Republicans warn the plan would hit the suburbs hard.
These new taxes hit working families in the suburbs while exempting the city of Chicago from many of them. Suburbs get taxed, Chicago gets control, and that's outrageous.
We were absolutely devastated. The collars, I'm speaking for DuPage and the collars, all of us.
DuPage County Board Chair Deb Conroy says the tax to sell a home in DuPage would increase 6-fold. Plus, $72 million would be taken from the county's tax revenue, forcing layoffs.
We want a fair piece of everything that's going on. Are they going to take 25% out of all the budgets, out of Cook County's budget and the city of Chicago's budget? No, they want to take it out of the collar county budgets to pay for that. That's not fair.
Lawmakers are also looking at renaming the transit system to the Northern Illinois Transit Authority. It would oversee CTA, Metra, and PACE, and have the authority to set and coordinate fares. Revenue would go back to the agency that provides service.
So I'm just going to pause it there. What did you say? Most cities had the same issues with mass transit. Oh, with as far you mean Wyoming with like competing boards? Because I never understood that. Even when I lived in the Boston area, I'm not saying their transit's perfect. Like, yeah, it needs a lot of work. But one thing that I appreciated. Oops, hold on one second. Chris and Chris are together. Okay, I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I thought there was a comment about our mayor. When I lived in the Boston area, they just have MBTA, Massachusetts Bay Transit Authority. It's the one, and I forget, I think New York's similar, but I don't remember. No, but they have weird things like they have path trains, and it's not all the same authorities in New York. But I'm pretty sure I was impressed with that in the Boston area because that covers commuter trains, that covers the T, which is the train like mostly within Boston, or, you know, like the light rail. That covers the ferries. They have a ferry system. They have buses, whatever. It's all under MBTA. I was like, oh, finally, like that makes sense. You know, at least so you don't have all these boards competing with each other for money and contracts and things they can profit off of. Again, you're not supposed to profit. You're supposed to serve the people. Hello. Oh, it makes me so angry. Right, Wyoming gal. Thomas says they're talking about getting rid of CTA, Metra, and PACE and merging all the service into one agency, which I would totally agree with. Like, do it like Boston. All the boards are against it, of course, because a lot of board members would be out of jobs. We spend all this money on public transportation. They're using rail cars and buses that are severely outdated. Countries like China and Japan have high-speed rails. Why don't we have one? That is a good point. That goes to another question. I do think that we would need more robust federal support for public transit. We don't have, hold on. We don't have enough consistent federal support for transit. But my thing is, regardless of how you feel about, like, let's just say we all were just like, fine, we'll pay the extra taxes. Why should we give you more money when we see you waste it? Waste. That's what gets me. And they don't care about working to improve transit for us. They care about getting the contracts that land their connected buddies the most money. And you know, who knows if they're getting kickbacks and whatever. I mean, stuff like that. I mean, how many times have you seen people get in trouble for that in Illinois? I mean, so we know it happens, but it's just, it's crazy. So I agree. In general, we should have better transit, and I don't even mind paying higher taxes, but I can't support increasing taxes of any level of government until we know how our current money is being, you know, spent, and that's it's being spent properly. You know, if there's just tons and tons of waste, it really bothers me, because then, like those politicians said, you know, they don't want people in DuPage County. Let's say DuPage County is much better at handling their money than Cook County is. Okay, let's just say that this is just true. So I agree. She's like, well, why should we have to subsidize because Cook County's budget's all messed up, you know, and they have all these games they play with TIFs, and, you know, and just people just steal money. They use government boards as piggy banks. Fish says, oh, that's kind of random, Fish. Why do gays get a whole month and vets get 1 day? Vets are important too. I mean, vets get a lot of attention and get a lot of, you know, I didn't do a Memorial Day thing in Harvey this year. I wanted to, but it just had been too crazy because our mayor never does anything. But no, I think it's good just because so many LGBT people are still killed, persecuted, very high suicide rates. So I think Pride Month is very important. Garza, I saw a video of a train in Japan. Wow, high speed for real. Exactly. You have the fishing to start. You have 4 months. All the heads of the agencies got over 30% raises during the pandemic and told the workers to 30%. Wow. And I know you know, Thomas. He's someone who knows about this stuff. And they told the workers to probably gave you the finger, right? and said, here, take 3% a year or get laid off. Isn't that horrible? See, that's what makes me pissed. I have no problem paying taxes for good government service. But when people get into government for personal benefit without caring about what actually that board is supposed to do, ugh. The larger the government becomes, the more waste and fraud because people have their own agenda. Right. Yes. No, I mean, I do agree. I think the more, it's like I said, I don't have a problem with government programs, but I think the more you can have, you need more checks and balances. And if we can also try to, like, that's where I'm a leftist, but I do appreciate a lot of, if you read some anarchist readings, what I like about them is they're big on being independent, kind of like the Black Panthers were. They used a lot of anarchist thought, where, in other words, they'd have their own security, they'd have their own food systems, to help people that needed to eat. They believed in putting in their own structures that mirrored the government, but that meant that you didn't, you didn't have to rely on the government. So I like a lot of that thinking in anarchist thought, to try to make people as self-sufficient as possible. But like I said, I'm not against good government programs like Medicare for all. Like, we need that. Like, shoot, nobody can afford healthcare nowadays. But yeah.
Service. There would be a new chief transit safety officer. And the governor, mayor, and Cook County Board president would each appoint 5 people, as would the Collier County boards.
This bill will create a new regional authority that will centralize responsibility. It will mean one fare, one timetable, wayfinding so people can move between systems easily.
Governor Pritzker has to sign off as well.
And those, putting making just one board instead of 4 boards, and what do they say? They having the fairs coordinate everything like that. I'm all for that. That's great, but I'm not for it if it includes a huge tax increase. Because again, show us that you can spend the money you have now better. And I am such a big transit advocate, but I get so pissed. I've talked to the RTA board before. I get their emails and they don't listen. When I complained about our concerns in Harvey, they could care less. They could give a what, okay? But I always get their emails. Oh, call your legislators. Oh, funding is in danger. Oh, we're gonna have to cut service drastically. Oh, they cry poor. Oh my gosh, what are we gonna do? And it's disingenuous. It's manipulative. It's dishonest. That is not okay. You show us you can do some reforms, okay, before we give you more money. The government gave them all COVID money to keep service going. They mismanaged it and it runs out this year. So now they're talking layoffs. Thank you. See, that's the key, is you already got resources. Like, case in point, we have a petition on the Harvey Historical Society website about our Metro train station downtown. We have a station that, okay, it's a little small, maybe they could expand it, but it's from 2003. So it's not really even that old. And it looks architecturally appropriate for our downtown. Well, they started off a few years ago and they said, oh, okay, well, Pace is going to redo the regional bus depot that we have in downtown Harvey, and okay, that's fine. It was like $7-8 million. Well, all of a sudden it ballooned into a $70 million project to not only redo the bus station, relocate the bus station, and put in a whole new train station. And the train station, it's ugly as sin. It's horrible. It does not match our downtown at all. So then my question is, how did it go from a 7 million or whatever to 70 million? As you said about that COVID money, somebody's getting paid, and we're not seeing the benefit. They're just trying to use that cash. California's been trying to get high-speed rail from Bakersfield. When people learn about that, they left. Oh, actually, I know someone that is working. I think she lives in Sacramento, but I used to work with her in Chicago. She's working on helping with acquiring land and stuff like that. But I'm excited to follow that project. I want to see how that works out. I feel like every entity in the country mismanaged COVID money. Yeah, there was a lot of waste. California, the high-speed rail. Yep. I'm sure they are. That would make sense with the ticket prices. Right. Even with that, what do you guys notice? That's the theme. Every level of government, we need lots of accountability and checks and balances.
Well, and Wednesday, he warned.
I've been opposed to any taxes that are broad-based or that would affect working families in this budget.
As you can imagine, the Republicans who are just learning of the mass transit funding plan, they're not happy with how last minute this is all happening.
Illinois continues to operate in the shadows, encouraging secrecy, rushing decisions, forcing taxpayers to foot the bill without a voice in the process. In 2015, the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities ranked Illinois' budget process among the worst in the nation.
Now, I gotta stop him right there. I'm a registered Democrat, and there are some Democrats in Illinois that are decent, you know what I mean? But I want good policy. And even though, okay, he's a Republican, but tell me what he said that was a lie. Tell me what that Republican said that was a lie. Illinois, at many levels, they don't take feedback when it's regarding to the budget, when it's regarding budgetary things. You just saw it in the township meeting. You don't get information. They don't take feedback. Everything's hush hush. They push things through. He's absolutely right. Supposed to cut it to 2-hour travel. That would give people opportunities in these cities. Oh yeah, yeah. No, I'm excited. I'm following that project. It's actually exciting. They're doing one called Bright Start, I believe, in Florida too. A train line there.
Final days of the session, they're often difficult. And in this case, if no transit funding approval and lawmakers have to return this summer, then they need a 3/5 vote to pass any bill after May 31st.
And they've been really hitting the airwaves, too, trying to let people know the cost of not funding transit this time
to
around.
wait till the last minute, it takes a while for everyone to digest this. It's going to be a tough sell.
A lot of people counting on it, though, so we'll see what happens.
Yes.
Thank you, Mary.
Let's not forget Napoleon is exactly. Napoleon is a state center, and unfortunately, Mr. Harris is a part of the problem, not the solution, as regarding in working on transparency and accountability in Illinois. Yeah, he's not he's not a help. I don't think any of our state politicians, at least from the Southland, none of them are very transparent or helpful at all. And now, did you notice though that the news anchors, I don't like that. Even they give a subtle, or not so subtle bias towards oh well, but yeah, I mean, people really need the transit. Where's the pressure where's the expose on the boards on all the waste? Where's the pressure on them? Where's the accountability for that? What, like Thomas said, don't let them blackmail us into increasing our taxes. How many times have you seen that in your lifetime where they say, oh, we're going to have to cut all these services if you don't increase taxes? Really? How about we cut the waste in your budget first? How about we do that? But they do that all the time. Yesterday was the deadline for the state budget and all township budgets. However, there's no penalty for a township failing to pass a budget, right? And they did the other day, but we didn't see it, right, Paul? I think the board they are trying to replace RTA with is a joke. Oh, I thought you said you were for it though, Thomas. I would be in favor of just having one board instead of the 4. I don't blame people for not wanting to drive in LA. Yeah, exactly. So again, I'm all for public transit, but don't do it this way. Okay, so next we have Mayor Clark can't mow grass. Yes, believe it or not, this is an issue. So hold on, I got to pull this up for you guys. I got to pull it up. So today I went to my neighbor who her daughter was getting confirmed, and they live 2 blocks on Myrtle, which is where the Mayor Clark and the MWRD, the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of that serves the Chicago area, dealing with water issues. They are pushing out 15 families from their homes to build a park and a retention pond that we don't need. So I went, so they've just been through hell, obviously. And we've been trying to advocate for them. So I went to their event today and I'm going to show you how horrible it looks. These people are horrible. Oh, did it not upload yet? Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. It's got to be here somewhere. How do I show you guys? Come on. It's not there. Okay, hold on. Let me check one other place. Yeah, I apologize. I thought it uploaded already. RTA already sets the fares. It's no different than what the RTA is supposed to do. They just changing the name. Oh, right. No, I was just saying though, Thomas, isn't the whole idea though to get rid of the other boards and just have the one? Gardas, even with hearing 2 hours off the travel, it's still a long way. About 5 hours. Yeah, I think the goal eventually is to do what is so you could do. They want to have LA, Las Vegas, and San Francisco connected by high-speed rail, and probably Sacramento eventually. Oh my God. I'm sorry, guys. I have the video on my phone. I just don't. I thought it would have uploaded to my my laptop already. It's slow. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll cover the one thing and then come back. Boop, beep, 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 boop, beep, 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 beep. The rabbit in Homewood. Okay, what are you guys saying? The problem with the transit system is they don't enforce any rules or enforce fair policies anymore. That's probably true. Transit is a bit more confusing and complicated in Illinois. Yeah. I don't know. I never saw the point of having all those boards. It just increases opportunity to waste money, in my view, Oh, okay. I think I found it. Wait, here's my MP4. Okay, they're loading right now. Loading right now. Still a long time, 4 hours in a day, but it will get folks off the road, I guess. Right, yeah. If we can get folks off the road, that's better than nothing, Okay, it's downloading that. I had a great, wonderful interview last night. While that's doing that, at least I can pull that up and see. It's really very sad in France to an out-of-town company instead of a locally owned brewery, which was super cool. I had a great time after the interview hanging out there. Village of Homewood, basically, what do you call that when you string someone along? Is that it? Strung them along, led them on. That's it. Led them on for 2 years that they were going to be able to expand and use the space. And then at the last minute, they went with an out-of-town developer. And how much are you willing to bet that it's about this? Because it's just so sad, but that's what happens a lot. So that is, we're going to cover that. Okay, and then it's okay. I think it's still got to download my movie. Yeah, it's still down though. Okay, how do I share? Let me go back to the share. Get out of there. Close. Close. Yeah. No. Yeah. No, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. They won't tell the news that, yeah. I agree. Your safety is more important. Stop sharing that tab. Instead, share. Okay, you guys can stop downloading, computer. Okay, here you go. So these are my wonderful, cool neighbors that Mayor Clark and the MWRD are pushing out of their homes. So sad. So we're losing them. But this is Carlton, the husband. So he's from Jamaica, and he's an artist, and he made some jerk chicken for everyone today. It was delicious. Delicious. Absolutely. Let me see here. So that was the jerk chicken. Yummy. Let me tell you. Yummy. Then, yeah, there it is again. Oh, it was so good. So thank you, Carlton. So this is the block. Now, remember, we still have a few families that live there. Not everybody's gone. Mayor Clark can't even cut the grass. How are you going to build a park? How are you going to maintain anything? And how or why do you ticket people like me, give me bogus tickets, and you can't take care of anything yourself? Look, these are city-owned lots now. Now, that grass was mowed just because one of the families that still lives there mowed it because, they didn't want to have to deal with the high grass. Look at this. Look. And that's my family's old church that the mayor wants to demolish right there. Could you imagine if that were, this is the block right off of our downtown, like Main Street too, okay? It's not like this is the edge of town or anything. No, this is not acceptable, Mayor Clark. No, Mayor Clark. Yeah, no, this isn't a park. It's not the Forest Preserve. No, this is a block that is right off of our Main Street. You can't even take care of this? How are we going to trust you with anything? Yeah, there you go. Looks like Little House on the Prairie, right? No, it's the 150-300 block of Myrtle right off of our 154th Street, which is our main commercial thoroughfare. Look at that. Who wants to live with that? Like I said, if it was like a cute little prairie park, okay, but no, this is like a lot where the city kicked the people out of their homes, forced them to sell, and now the people that are left, they have to face these horrible conditions. Look at that. Look. Hey everybody, I am on the 15300 block of Myrtle. We're actually right by my family's old church where I was baptized and where they went to school and church. I want to show you. Look at Clark and his minions can't even be bothered to get street signs right in Harvey. Look at that. So this is the church that they're letting sit and fall apart like this. And the school. Oh, sorry. I was going to pause it for comments. Sorry, I wanted to catch up. They won't tell the news. The churches. Thank you. That's Ascension St. Susanna, Wyoming. I was baptized there. All my family went to church and school there. So many people got married and had funerals there. And the mayor doesn't care. His plan is just to demolish the whole campus. It's really sad. Like, we should reuse it. What is being done with the Dixie Square property? Good question. Nothing. Wow, South Helm would have fined the owner of $1,000 in fines. Thanks, Gardis. Guess what? What do you do when the city owns the property and they don't cut the grass? Mayor Clark just fed everybody a whole bunch of BS in his interview with Jed, saying how fabulous he is. If you can't even cut grass, how can we expect you to do anything? That's like a basic thing. Like, people don't want to live near, unless we got like a prairie park we're putting in. Okay, people don't want to live near all that. Mayor Clark. Out west, we have to maintain our grass. Right? Yeah. Does the Archdiocese still own the building? No, Gardis. That's the big tragedy that I'm so pissed. The Archdiocese in 2023, I believe, they sold it to the city of Harvey. So angry. I complained too, but they weren't helpful. Down there, and you have the rectory, and you can't see it. It's behind the school, but there's a convent building. Clark wants to demolish all of it, and they've been letting people in and out of that church. We've complained a lot, so it got better, but I don't know if there's still homeless coming in and out of the church. They want to burn. Let's reuse it. Let's make it veterans housing. Let's make it senior housing. Let's make it transitional housing. Let's do a community center space, art space, shared workspace. Okay, but you don't demolish your resources in a community. But then again, look at this block. This is the block of Myrtle where Clark and the MWRD and Carrie Steele and the other. And like, keep in mind, wait, hold on. What did you say, Wyoming? We have a beautiful old church with all the beautiful wooden stained glass that was turned into a food court type business. Oh yeah, I love that. There are so many ideas and programs and tax incentives, but Mayor Clark just doesn't care. How come they didn't put the retention pond plans at Dixie Square? So no one would lose their home. That's one of the areas that we propose. There's also where the Lowell Longfellow School used to be was demolished. That's in downtown Harvey, and that's a big field. And all the alternatives we gave, they said no. So you know what that tells me? Somebody's getting this. They're getting paid because of this project. It has to be because they ignore. I got people from DC who do climate change work for the federal government. They looked at the MWD proposal and rejected it. And they said, no, you don't need a retention pond. And the way you did this, you didn't take proper feedback. You didn't do that. And the board and the mayor just basically were just like, we're going to do it anyway. No, we don't care. Like, so you're going to like use like fake science and say, that you know better. And like, they didn't even care. It's horrible what these boards do. So that's the common theme that I want to see people to get is like, we've got to get involved and speak up and make these boards more accountable because it just happens all over. Horrible minions there. Pushing out 15 hard-working, tax-paying families of Harvey so they can build a park. Only 2 families still left, or 3 families. But look, now that the city supposedly owns these properties, they can't even be bothered to maintain it, to cut the grass, to just do basic maintenance. Hello, people don't want to live like this. We have people, look, that's 154th Street, right at the end of the block. That's downtown Harvey. That's our main street for downtown Harvey. Look, who the heck? This is Dorothy. I did a video with her, Miss Dorothy Taylor. This is her beautiful home that she took great pride in. But the mayor and the MWRD forced her to sell. And she was not happy about having to leave. Look at more houses. And look at the condition of the grass. I mean, who wants to live like this? This grass is only mowed because one of the remaining families mows it. This building, I don't even know what they're doing with this. This is a beautiful apartment building and it's just sitting. So we got 2 houses left and then the end building is empty. But this is horrible. Clark and his 4 Alder Yesmen, they need to go. The MWRD board, they should all resign. I mean, this is ridiculous. Okay, so there you go. I'm surprised Regina from NBC doesn't investigate the mayor since she grew up there. Yeah, I do hope. I think she's going to be covering us some more. So let's hope and pray. And that's where I need you guys to, everybody that can to help to share my videos, share other people's videos, share the reports that Regina has done because she does cover Harvey. But, we need more coverage. What gets me is all the fake outrage that was created to get rid of Tiffany. By, I think, a lot of political players because they wanted to take over the corruption. They didn't want to stop the corruption. They wanted Tiffany out so they could take over the corruption. So we need actual like real anger at saying let's fix the problems and not just change the players. What is Clark's end game? Do you have an idea? Is it some kind of good question, Wyoming? The city of Harvey, to our knowledge, owns at least, let's say, maybe about 500 parcels of land, which for Harvey, about 19,000 people, 6 square miles. It's a lot of parcels, okay? It took us 6 years to get just of me incessantly speaking out, getting arrested and all this, to get the city to post a partial list of city-owned properties on the website. But there's still no transparency as far as how do you buy them. And the ones that we've been able to find evidence that the city has sold, usually the buyers are connected, like either they're a donor to Mayor Clark or, they did him some kind of favor or something. So it's very corrupt. But it does seem like some sort of land grab. I know the police department in Harvey needs to be disbanded and have the sheriff. Yeah, yes, amen to that. Yeah, the police, they're no good either. No good, baby, no good. Okay, and that just goes back to our agenda. Okay, awesome. And then the last thing I think I wanted to talk about officially, unless anybody else has anything, please feel free to share. But the rabid thing in Homewood, so I'll just share just a little bit, not the whole thing because I was there for a while. But I feel bad because I didn't put it on landscape. I thought I did, but I'd already started live. I'm like, whatever. South End politics has bred people like Henyard and Clark. They aren't the problem. They are products of the problem. Thank you. Yes, exactly. I saw a news report in the South End property tax woes. They inferred that many villages are on the verge of collapse. Something is going on. Yes, absolutely, Wyoming. Yep. Mm-hmm. You know what's crazy too is that I always say there's smart corrupt and there's dumb corrupt. So a lot of the politicians, if you want to, no one should be corrupt. Please don't be corrupt. Don't steal money. But I'm just saying, I am very practical. I know humans are humans, right? We're probably never going to fully get rid of corruption in government, but we should at least try, right? Don't be like the township board. And then, and you have these great ordinances in place to save tax money, and then they rescind them. It's like, what? You're doing the opposite of what you should be doing. But if you were smart and corrupt, you would at least clean up the system enough that we would get plenty of businesses, plenty of residents. The schools would be doing well and be well funded, libraries, parks, What I've seen in Illinois, and so, things are going fairly well, right? And the taxes aren't so high that people are just crazy burdened and they can barely afford it, right? So, and then people could they'd probably still be stealing some money or there'd be some corruption, okay? But I call that the smart corruption. The dumb corruption, which is what we see a lot in Illinois and in Cook County and especially in the South End, is they will increase fees, fines, taxes. Like they just keep going up and up and up and up and up. The quality of services goes down, 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 down. And that's why, like in our area, we're right next to Indiana. So that's why a lot of people move to Indiana. And I don't like that idea because to me, it feels very white flighty and it feels very like, I just don't want people to abandon, it's like, let's work to improve our communities because we still have a lot that is good in our communities. Don't get me wrong. But it's crazy. It's like, why don't you at least be smart and corrupt, like make sure that your town works, like that the systems work. Like if you just constantly try to keep bleeding people for money, like eventually they're just gonna leave. And then, and that's why we've seen a lot of, we've lost a lot of people and a lot of businesses. Gentrification. Right. I think that's a big part of what Mayor Clark and other politicians want to do as well. Push out the locals and bring in corporations and chains. And that is a perfect segue to what I did last night talking to Rabid Brewery, because remember, they're a local business. So why would the board in the Village of Homewood lead them on for 2 years and then at the last minute decide to give the building to some big corporation? Well, again, it's probably money. Fees are basically taxes. You utilize adds all the line item fees. Yeah, it's like the fees like add up, right? Yeah, it's crazy. Okay, so let me share this. Oops. Share. So similar story, and we'll look at a little bit of Rabid Brewing.
And Jewel off of Halstead, and we're going to talk a little bit about Homewood tonight. I'll still cover some Harvey stuff as well, but I wanted to catch a little bit of what was going on here because there's something that has happened that's been really big in the community and people are not happy about it. So right now, this is a Rabid Brewery. This is their Homewood location, and it is a local business owned by Homewood residents. So yes, before I start, I have the owners here and everything, but what I want to do is try to figure out on StreamYard here, I want to change to change orientation so you can see more of us on the screen at once. And I don't know how to.
I could. Oh wow, that was
okay.
Yeah, I'll do it better next time, huh?
How's everybody? Virtual back.
So
I talked about it briefly last night, but
I took you inside.
Change orientation settings while you're live, but Village Board recently voted to not, after apparently leading this local business along for 2 years, decided to tell them, okay, thank you, French Matthew, decided to tell them, oh, just kidding, we're going to give this building we set aside for you to another company. And residents are not happy. But I just wanted to show you, this is their current location. So it's really cool, kind of alternative place. They have a lot, it's very gay friendly. They have, you see the LGBT, different flags. You can come watch them sumo wrestling.
Yeah, what do you think? What do you guys think about that? Oh, that was so fun with the sumo wrestling being projected on the wall. It was like very quirky. Like, oh, such a cool place. I stayed in a hotel in Seattle once, and by the time they added up all the line item fees, right, exactly. See, I can't stand stuff like that. They try to catch you with the fees. Harvey's in a prime location for industrial commerce. 2 expressway rail yards. Why do you think Amazon is at 159th and Dixie? Exactly. Yes, exactly. So it's not, I don't want everybody to think that we're all like poor and dejected. Like, we have a lot of great things here. That's why the politicians are corrupt and trying to take them. Land grab. Yep. Where is the location? Oh, okay. Yeah. Let me well, here, I'll play this and then I'll Google the address. I'll share it with you guys.
Here's the bar. So you can see there's that cool mural up there. Can you all see? Okay. So look, let's see some of their drinks. For instance, we have. Oh, they do have some pizzas too. Okay, cool. Nephilim, Bewitched, Hemogoblin, Lilitu. So it's a really cool kind of almost like Dungeons and Dragons sort of feel. Nicole says, "Tell Calvin hi." Oh yeah, he's one of the bartenders, right? Well, thanks, Nicole. Merci. Yeah, I'll tell him hello. They have like a little altar set up. So it's really cool. Look, they have games. So my question, of course, Calvin, Nicole says hello. I don't know Nicole, but I just said hi. He says hi. So, it's your friends? Oh, okay. Yeah, so, why this place seems so cool, right? Like, why wouldn't the village board want them to have that place? I don't understand. So, like I said, people are not happy, guys. We're going to talk a little bit with the owners and see how they feel and just get the story and maybe find out a few other things about what's going on in Homewood. Look, I would come just for the huge sumo wrestling alone. I mean, isn't that the coolest? And beautiful sunset. Nice. So yeah, so this is their current location in Homewood. Okay, I'm with the they should be able to hear us, but I don't know. I have a mic just in case. So these are the owners. Here, you guys, you can hold it. Hold it. Yeah. So these are the owners of Rab. So do you guys want to introduce yourselves and tell us about your wonderful business here?
My name is Tobias Sisha, and this is Ray Rosado. We are a husband and wife team who created Rabbit Brewing, and we opened our doors in 2017.
Awesome. Okay, thank you. Did you want to say anything, wifey? Sorry, is that bad? She's giving me a look now. No, justifiably. I gave our viewers a tour. Again, thank you for just joining us. Again, I'm in Homewood. I gave them a tour of your lovely establishment, and just to show them how nice it was. And that was our question tonight is, well, why would the board not want to support this awesome business? Tell the viewers what you were telling me earlier as far as how many people come for that one event. You said it was like 1,000 people or something?
Yeah, Feast of the Goat Queen, which is our largest annual festival that we throw, has I think 1,200 came last year.
Wow.
There were attendees from across the pond. There were attendees from Europe, and so we have a very large drag, and we draw people from all over the world.
And guys, just so you know, that's amazing, right? Like Homewood has a really cute downtown, but they're tucked behind big box stores on Halstead, which is just like a big car street. Okay, so I wanted to show you guys. That's a little bit, of what they're doing there. Super, super cool. Yeah, thank you, French, for the compliment. I was so glad you were able to join last night too. So just so you can kind of locate things, especially if you're not from the area. So it's Brett's Drive, but it's like that kind of is meaningless, right? So downtown Homewood, which is super cute, is right here by the train. Okay, so this is the downtown. The plaza that they went to, I believe, is off of 183rd. Okay, yeah, the plaza would have been kind of just like right on the edge sort of the downtown area. So it definitely would have been a better location for them. Where they're currently at right now is right behind a whole bunch. It's ugly. It's a car street, very car centric, and it's a whole bunch of big box stores. So, it's not like the best location, but as far as it's hidden, but it's nice that they have some fields and stuff, but that is where it's located. And then let's say if you guys were familiar with Dalton, but you were like, oh, where's Homewood in comparison? So look,
I want to show you. No thanks, Google. Go away. Is it down from the train station? No, it's not. So their current location is not. It's not in downtown. The location that the village had led them on, saying for 2 years that they would be able to move into it, that was like closer to the downtown. So it's like it's off Halstead where all the big stores are. But I just want to show you guys how close everything is. Okay, so did I zoom right? Did I even do it? Sometimes I don't do this right. I feel like I zoomed on the wrong thing. I knew it. Darn it! How do I zoom out? Hold on. Let me refresh. Okay, here we go. Oh no, maybe I had it right. Maybe it's just slow and loading. But anyway, so Homewood is here. Okay, here's Homewood. Look, here's Harvey. We're right next door. There's South Holland. Say hi to South Holland. That's where the township building is. Here's Dalton up here. There's Riverdale. This is Chicago. Okay, Chicago's basically, right around where the river is. So that Chicago's there. So you go south of Chicago, you hit Dalton and Riverdale, South Holland. Here's where where Paul, the Roberts are. Here's in Lansing. You see this dotted line here? That is the border with Indiana. So our region is the most sensitive to all the waste and high taxes and fees in Indiana, in Illinois, because we're right next to Indiana. So that is another reason why we desperately need reform, because it's, how do you keep people living here, with all of this wasted these fees and taxes that are crazy high, when next door it's so much lower. So you see how everything's close together. And then I don't know if Rapid Brewing might be on the edge of Thornton Township. I have to check the boundaries again, but part of Homewood, including most of the downtown, is in Thornton Township. So it is quite a large township. Let's say it's about because it includes Lansing, right? So Lansing and all the way up here, bordering on Chicago, all the way here and all the way here-ish. So it's a really, I think they said it's the biggest township in the state. So it's a pretty big township. Oops. So does that help give you guys an idea of where things are? The Chamber of Commerce needs your thanks, Wyoming. Yes, see, I love stuff like that. But in Harvey, I can't even get anything done because the mayor would rather spend his time trying to call me a pedophile than actually working with. I'm like, hey, I know investors. I'm a realtor. I know so many people operate businesses out of their homes in Harvey and in the Southland. Let's get them some space in our commercial corridors in our downtowns. No, these politicians, they just want to steal money and do their own thing. It's so frustrating. So that's why I need all of you guys to help. But does that help? Does that help kind of situate things in the Southland for people? Because I know, especially if you're tuning in from out of town, sometimes it's. I love maps and I like to situate things. I like to have a mental map so I kind of know where things are at. So I hope that helps. There's a CBD bakery in downtown Homewood. I was shocked that it was there. Oh, you're right. I think I probably did hear about that. Well, and one thing I talked about in the interview, there were these two sisters. They were super cute. But we were talking about when I was growing up in the 90s, they're about my age. So in the 90s, downtown Homewood was really cool with they had some kind of alternative punk or whatever, basically just places like this bar for people who are they were nerdy, nerdy people like me. I wasn't necessarily someone into goth or punk or piercings, but still, where you want places in your town that are not chains, right? Do you want everything to be sanitized and do I want to go to Homewood or wherever, Harvey, and see all the same businesses as if I were to go out to Wyoming and visit Wyoming Gal or go to Quebec and visit, French? No, we want, and plus when you have more local businesses, it keeps the money circulating more in your area, in your town. So that's also why people are so angry at the village of Homewood right now. You're too honest. They hate exactly. That's why they don't like to see me coming. They're like, oh, it's him. I love the maps. Thank you, Wyoming. Me too. Is the casino in Harvey? No, but it is very close. Do you want me to show you how close it is? It's super close. I'll show you. Hold on. All right. So here's Rabbit Brewing. Boop, boop, boop. Let's zoom in a little bit. I'll zoom in a little bit because I'll show you. Okay. So Diana was mentioning downtown Homewood. Okay. So downtown Homewood is. Oops. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on, computer. Yeah, so downtown Homewood is here, Ridge Road. Here's the train. Here's Aurelio's Pizza, which is, that's the original Aurelio's there. But yeah, so they have a whole bunch of cute businesses, and they got a train station, blah, 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 blah. It's cute. There's another brewery, Homewood Brewing Company. But as the owners pointed out, they were the first brewery in Homewood. So, but you got to go over to Halstead where all the big box stores are. That's where their current location is. They wanted to be located over here on 183rd. I forget exactly where the plaza is. I think it's by Western, somewhere over here. Yeah, I can't remember. I just remember it's on 183rd though, where the plaza was. So, So if you go if you followed the train, right, just go up here. This is Homewood, little town of East Hazelcrest. And then you're into, well, this is a little bit of Markham, which is a random boundary, but then you're right into Harvey. See how close we are? We're all very close together. And then this is our downtown, which is much larger than Homewood's. And traditionally, downtown Harvey was like the capital for the south suburbs. Okay, so we had everything. Now it's definitely a shadow of its former self. There's our hospital, but we're working on it. So if you take Halstead, which is one of the main north-south streets, take Halstead south through Harvey. Okay, I'm gonna go south. Okay, we're still in Harvey. Then you hit I-80, 294, which 80, that is the same 80 that the Southland and Harvey in particular is a big crossroads, okay, for all that east-west traffic. So 80 goes, I think, from San Francisco to New York, I want to say. I forget, but I believe that's correct. So when you cross over the overpass, there's the casino. So Harvey is our land, right? Harvey is right here, and Homewood and East Hazelcrest are right here. So see how close we are. And this is also a big the difference, though, as far as yes, Homewood has issues, but they have more of, like I was saying, they have more of the good corruption, where at least the politicians are not totally inept, so they still have they have a lot of businesses. They have a nice downtown. That's the smart way to be corrupt. Should I start a class? You guys be like, Ryan's class and how to be corrupt the smart way. The goal is not to be corrupt, but I'm just saying, at least in Homewood, they're not dumb enough and cruel enough like our mayor to just decimate the town, right? I know it's where that hotel was and the club was there. I thought it was hard. No. So Thomas, to give you an idea, and this, okay. So there's Rabbit Brewing right there. So here's the casino just south of I-80 and 294, okay? This north, this is Harvey right here. This is where the hotel deal under our former mayor Kellogg fell through, and somebody they were all involved with that, and somebody stole millions of dollars and left the country. We were supposed to have our hotel was supposed to be redone. And then this corner right here is South Holland, and then this location right here is kind of it's shared between South Holland and Harvey. So yeah, so we're all close together, guys. We're all close together. Mm-hmm. Oh, you do? Oh, that's cool.
Some Three Floyds beer and took it home, and she actually taught me how to appreciate the beer. And
That's so cool, Diane. Okay, I didn't know you had an office in downtown Homewood. Isn't it awesome? Like, we should have a nice downtown like Homewood. There's no reason why we can't other than corruption. So they shared a little bit about like how they met, and it was cute. They're a cute couple. Very, very sweet. But what I really loved is, like I said, they're local. And oh, look at French. He said, yes, Bud is good to get drunk, but home brew beer is more tasty. But they're very, it was just, you feel welcome. Like, as a gay man, I felt welcome there. And they had a few people that were LGBT folks, and people that had piercings and different hair color, and you didn't get any weird looks. Like, they were so warm and welcoming. Like, who would not want that? So shame on this board. I hope that I want to try to help. I hope that we can fight back. I hope that residents stand up and make that board honor their commitment to Rabid Brewing.
as I like to put it, a story of the betrayed.
The cautionary betrayal.
Yeah. And so that was pretty rough. We expected that, being the very first brewery in Homewood, being the original Homewood brewery, that we were going to at least have some serious drag here.
Isn't that sad? I know, Diane. I'm sorry. I want that to change, though. We need to work on that. You should feel that you could have an office in Harvey. Okay. You're just on the wrong side of the highway. Exactly, Thomas. Jean's Bakery. No, Jean's Bakery. That was our bakery for downtown Harvey. They closed too, under Mayor Kellogg.
Here, and it seemed like we did for a very long time. It seemed like the village was behind us, but it turned out they were not. And instead, it appears that, they pretty much exploited us to promote a property to get an owner in there that they would have preferred when they told us very specifically that we were the preferred developer.
And that was a 2-year process, right? You said?
Yeah.
They never once were concerned that we hadn't owned a property. In fact, I remember asking, is this a problem? Should I do something about it? No, we know that you live here. Everything's fine.
Right. And we live here. We created this incredible business, from
nothing,
and and we built it, and we survived COVID and the many years after, when over 30 Illinois breweries closed. So this was not a good period of time to be in this business. It was terrible, and we were seeing our friends lose their businesses left and right, all in the same industry, but we managed to survive, and because of who we are and because of how well we were able to adjust. Ray is the company president, and she decided early on that we had to take on new strategies, and we ended up becoming a much more event-driven space. And so that's what
else.
30 artisan vendors that celebrate the natural caliber in a real smear job. They misrepresented all of our facts in their report.
We checked it out. It wasn't ideal.
Okay, so they were great. If you get a chance, you can watch it, kind of, fast forward. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but they're a great couple, Tobias and Ray. It was wonderful getting to know them. And then I had 2 Homewood residents share as well. The sisters came on, and they are Stitch. So that was fun. Let's see. They came on.
And you guys are, I'm guessing, okay, so I'm 42. Are you guys, I don't know if you're around my age, but okay, so, because I was talking to the owners earlier, and, sorry guys, I hope I'm not covering my.
Year, hand over fist, when there's a million people trying to do native planting in these gorgeous gardens, but they aren't perfect and prim and proper and 50 these cookie cutter boxes. And so, you know, my husband and I talk all the time that our neighbors probably hate us because we painted our house Bahama blue, you know, like, and we were like,
Oh, I
well,
want to see.
we're like, oh, there's a gray one. Oh, there's another brown one. Oh, there's another. Oh, there's us, you know, because this is what's wrong with being different. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's what we grew up on, right? Like,
Well, and that's part of the Pull of Rabbit too, is because
yes,
it has that same feel of places like Off the Alley and Record Swap and
Oh,
all of
yeah.
these places that made Homewood unique in the beginning. This has the same feel, the same draw, the same people come here that went to all of these wonderful places when we were growing up.
Yeah. And some of it is like trying to come back with a fight, right? Like we have the rock shop, which is awesome, but it was a battle to be there, you know? And I think that any place that wants to, like there's this new donut shop, right? They're trying to like.
So it was cute. They were just sharing about, we don't want to get rid of the things that make our towns unique and special. And it's just good to support local business. And I'm so sorry. Contra says, French, you've been doxxed and going live. What? Contra's what happened? Oh my God. Uh-oh. Is French still in here? That's a good question. I don't know if he's still with us. I may just tune into your live because we're just about done anyway. But yeah, these girls, I'm like, I gotta go back to this bar. I ended up staying and talking to some people for a while. It was just so fun. And I'm not a bar person, but like everybody was super fun and talkative and friendly. So I'm like, we have to fight for these people. So I'll help you, Homewood residents, but I think you should really make calls, do protests, do what you can. Make your board answer to you. They should vote how you want them to vote. This sends a devastating, very negative message to all of your local businesses and potential local businesses that your board doesn't care, that they'll screw you over. And that's not good for your town. That's why Harvey has a hard time attracting businesses, because even though we have the perfect location, people don't want to deal with this mayor. They don't want to deal with Mayor Clark because they know he's gonna just screw them over. So if you let your board do this to such a wonderful business, don't do it. Don't do it. You gotta make them. In my view, if you want better for Homewood, like what it was like in the 90s, and you want to keep that welcoming feel to local businesses, and so it doesn't become all chains that take money out of your community, that they just vacuum it up and send it back to corporate. You're gonna have to fight. You're gonna have to stand up. And I mean, I'll help you where I can.
Like really bring the building back to its original feeling, but it's been a fight every step of the way with the village to make it happen, because they want their piece of the pie, and they don't want to put any money into anything that isn't corporate and going to give them tenfold back, which is ridiculous.
Who they voted for.
They told us that this Peyton company, it's very corporate.
Exceptionally corporate, has zero ties to the village, none whatsoever, no ties to the village, and no solid plan as to what they're going to put in there. Their whole premise is, if you build it, they will come,
which clearly hasn't worked before.
Yeah, and
right.
Somebody came up to the village board and said, "I've worked with them. I've worked with them on buildings, and they weren't able to fill the building. It's just sitting there empty."
And can we also talk about how one of the CEOs of the real estate company also was charged with a hate crime? So that's cool. I think that's a great person we want in our call.
They say, we want to hear what you have to say, and then they flatly ignore what's been said. The amount of people that came out in support of Rabbit alone was incredible. That they couldn't all fit in the boardroom. They were wrapped outside in the hallway and out the door.
Wow. And that's amazing, especially for for a smaller town. Like, that's so rare. That really shows that people really, really care and they really support this business.
And it wasn't just people from Homewood either. These are people from all over the state coming to say, hey, this place is amazing. You need to let them expand. You need to give.
So Homewood, man, you got to stand up. Don't let your board do this. Don't let your board do this. I would say make them honor their commitment to this business. You know, it's really horrible. It's really, and this isn't the only town you see this happening in. You know what I mean? But these boards, they have to start respecting people. A lot of the big corporations get tax breaks from the community. When those stop, they close up. Right? Yes, that's the other thing. Exactly. Like in Illinois, at least we have these, or Cook County, we have these TIF districts, tax increment financing. So they basically give tax breaks to businesses, and a lot of times, like in Homewood, for instance, they granted TIF incentives to Walmart, you know, but Walmart didn't even stay open. Like they only stayed open for so many years. So now there's like a big empty Walmart. Like those are not the kinds of businesses that we want to invest our money in. They're big evil corporations that their goal is to come to your community wherever you live and vacuum up all the resources and send them back to corporate, you know, and the rich people in charge. Like you might think, you know, oh, I want this cute business because it's my favorite, but their goal is not to help your community. Their goal is to rape and pillage and really exploit, is to mine. They see your town as a mine. They want to take as much as they can out, as many resources as they can out of your town, and they don't care about putting things back. And usually local businesses are not going to be that way. So it's just another reminder that we got to stay active, people.
Oh, and French wants to know, he said, are your meetings live?
Our meetings are not live.
But they are posted online,
Yes.
the videos? Okay.
Yeah, videos are posted
Yeah, so if you want to see the Homewood Village meetings, they are online.
later. They have any sort of is because they want to get to, they're at 20,000 residents and they want to get to 20. Well, why not, right? But then for them to be like, oh, here's some money to build a second location. I'm like, no. You already have you already have
Oh,
a
that's
building.
interesting. Oh, so they were giving them
They gave them money. Yes, and I'm like,
Oh.
wait a minute.
Maple Tree Inn also got money.
Thrilled if they get a strip mall.
Yes. What is that?
And
All these people that moved to the area, and then we also had a chunk that moved to Flossmoor because Flossmoor started.
do whatever I know these owners, I feel so bad for them. They
In the morning when there was a raid in Homewood, and we were like, oh.
Well, and I think for us, like we both have children, and it's so important. Like this is what our kids watch nowadays. They watch YouTube. They don't watch
right.
TikTok or whatever. They're not watching TV like we did growing up. I'm not even watching TV anymore. You know, like no one's watching TV anymore. And so it's really important too that like not only are we doing, like we're setting an example and showing our kids like this is how.
Absolutely, Thomas. Yep. Walmart is there. It's so funny because they, you know, politicians will complain and say, let's get rid of Medicaid and welfare and all this other stuff because these people are lazy. And then they vote to give corporate welfare to these corporations that are owned by filthy rich people. They don't need any tax break. They don't need any incentives. And they're the ones that get it. Like, give the money, give the welfare to people who need it. Jeez, it's just all backwards, right? But I love these ladies. They were so great. But they were saying, like, the stuff that we do, you might think, I just tuned in to watch Ryan's YouTube tonight. It's not a big deal. No, I thank you for coming. This is very important. You heard what they said, and it's true. Think about, where do you get your news from? I don't watch TV anymore. Most of us don't. They said, well, they're kids. They watch YouTube. They're, on social media. So this sort of coverage, I was talking to some other area YouTubers like Burgundy and some others, and I'm encouraging them and asking them, like, guys, let's work together to really find out what's going on in the Southland, in our communities. And we need this all over this country, really all over the world. I mean, look at the genocide in Gaza, right? Even mainstream media that wasn't complicit, that wanted to cover, it was very hard for them to get in. So a lot of times the best footage we were getting was just from average people. That's the one good thing about technology. So we need to leverage that. We need to use it because we need to actually know what's going on.
Oh, you vet the people you're watching.
People
This is how you know. Like my son will come to me all the time and be like, did you know? And I'm like, where did you hear that? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Like,
what's your source?
let's verify.
Tell me your source.
so
Laura said good night. She had
know?
just to go, but she said, Brian, nice and constructive group chat. You ladies and gentlemen have a great night. Thank you, Laura.
Village boards, all of that, right? Like if you
Same thing with an email, though.
yes, same thing with an email.
I want this on the public record.
I'm a fan of faxes.
Oh.
Personally, fill up their fax machine.
I asked the ladies, what can people do in Homewood and other places too where they have issues, but particularly about this issue, like what can people do to make their voice heard and like, you know, force these boards to start listening? So they were saying, send emails, send faxes. That one I never heard. That's kind of a cool tip because they said, you know, you could fax like fax them twice a day if you want, you know what I mean, to get their attention.
Machine. Make that thing run for days. It's amazing.
That's smart. Okay.
All of your Congress people have fax machines. Just
And
so you know.
Was it Fax Zero?
Yes, Fax Zero.
You can send them for free
Like unlimited?
online.
Yes.
It's like 2 per day.
It's something like that. So you could
2
like
faxes
you
per
could be like,
day
I'm
you
gonna
can
send the Village of
for
Homewood
free.
and I'm gonna send my Congresswoman. You know, like
Oh, okay. I like that. Because I just wanted to give people some things to do because
Absolutely.
talking to these owners, I felt so bad for them. And I'm like,
Right.
I don't want them to think it's a done deal.
Email and tell them you want it on the public record.
yes, that you do not agree with this vote. Because the thing is, right, like the more, and also your newspapers, even your local newspapers, even if it's not in Homewood, you know, be like, hey, by the way, this happened, right? Because people who come here aren't just from here.
Right.
And you don't want your village to make the same mistake.
Right,
you know?
right. Yes. And
Make it known.
we are all interconnected as a region.
We
So that's
absolutely
the only
are.
reason why I'm glad we're covering this
We
tonight.
share Park District. We share townships. Think about this. Homewood
Yep.
Has 4
has
townships.
4 townships.
Mhm.
And not every state has townships. I know that we're kind of weird. But
Homewood, like I said, most of the downtown is in Thornton Township.
and those branch into our other communities, right? We are all connected.
Right.
We're not an island.
French says like asking for a FOIA. Exactly. Yes.
Yes.
We work on that too.
And which
Working
is what
on
I
it.
did with the Homeland Security raid.
And I may go live later just so you know. There was some Harvey stuff and other things I want.
Okay, guys. So thank you so much. Thank you. Now I'm curious to see what Conscious is talking about. I'm like, what happened? But anyway, so those ladies gave us some good tips, you know, FOIA, calling, emailing, faxing. I really, you know, I'd love to see some protests. So I hope that, and if I can help in any way, thank you for the great interview. Oh, thank you, Diana. Thank you so much. If I can help this business in any way, that just really hurts my heart to see hardworking local people be abused and used by a government board. And again, we're not saying that all the board members in Homewood are evil people, but these government officials, they work for us. They work for the people. Don't be afraid of your government officials. Don't be afraid of speaking up. Yes, sometimes they will try to come after you, but it doesn't change the fact that government should, in my view, and I think a lot of people agree, that government should respond to the people, right? Like we're the boss, not the other way around. So thank you guys. Is there anything else that anybody wanted to come on and say something, or if you had a question or anything, just throw it in the chat. Otherwise, I'm gonna pull up Conscious's show right now because I'm curious. Curious what's going on over there. And that's my channel. Yeah, I was doing a live and it was late. I was so exhausted, but you were so like playing bingo. I was like, oh my God, you go. I don't know how you did it so late. It was like after 1 and you were still playing bingo. I was like, you go, girl. Who the fuck cares? Oh my God. I'm sorry. I shouldn't swear, but that gets me so angry, you guys. Let's see what's going on.
Politics. What can we expect from Dalton, Illinois, or the Thornton Township? Because you know I'm not going to rest. I am not going to rest.
Let me see the comments. Like
the famous saying, you're all going to jail.
What's happened here?
Too late to take it down.
Wow.
Too late.
Damn. So someone
baby-
doxed French. I'm so sorry, French.
There's a lot of people who have been screenshotting Dalton politics and what you allow on that platform. John Kraft. Watch dogs my ass. You allow or doxed publicly with their real name. There's a lot of sick psychos out there, you stupid fucking bastard, who will do nothing
Right.
to
Absolutely.
exact revenge on whatever sick motherfucking thought they have in their head.
Oh, God. This is
So,
pissed.
if this man
She should be.
winds
That's
up
horrible.
dead at the hands of you, that is federal prison.
Yep.
You stupid fuck. Because you got your feelings hurt by me. Look at that avatar. Screenshot it. Read it. You think I'm some slowpoke? Nothing to do? Never been anywhere? Don't know people? You done fucked up, bud. You done fucked up because you can't stand it.
You did it.
For a woman to put you in your place. You don't have the balls to come up here and debate me like a man. Because you're not a man. Right?
Who did it? Who? So who? Do we
You
know
have
who did it,
hatred
though?
in your heart.
That's what I'm wondering.
And that hatred is going to grind you into the dirt.
Okay, my question is: do we know who did this? Who doxed French? That's what I want to know. Who did that? That's horrible.
Dalton politics. I'm going to tell you something right now. Everything I have on your website, your platform, it's going to the FBI in Washington, D.C., not Illinois. Because Illinois is the most corrupt place I have ever seen. So it goes to D.C.
Wow. Well, it looks like in the comments, at least French isn't taking it too bad. But I'm so sorry, French. That's horrible.
Only a coward does this. Who has his little feelings hurt. Oh, you poor baby. You can't come up here and say, well, this law counteracts the law you posted. No, you can't. You can't produce that
That's horrible.
law,
Horrible.
can you? No. Come on, little bitch. Where are you?
Oh. If Conscious is that mad, I'm guessing it must be pretty bad. And who was it? Oh, well, oh, I'm sorry. It does say Kurt. So Kurt, I thought maybe it was something with Jed. Very disappointing. Yeah, very disappointing, you guys. I guess we shouldn't be shocked, though, huh? That people are doxing. I don't understand. Like, people just need to be nice, play nice, you know? Thank you all, though, for caring, for listening in and for standing up for people, because we need that. We really do.
In Illinois, when a judge issues a warrant, it is entered into the Illinois State Police Criminal History Record Information System. This system tracks warrants and helps law enforcement, which you want to be a wannabe cop, right? Wannabe cop. Couldn't take it. Couldn't handle it. Couldn't pass the grade. And helps law enforcement locate and arrest individuals. The circuit court clerk also maintains warrant information. You see that? Illinois, meaning the entire state, you worthless piece of shit. You got butthurt because a woman put you in your place and called you out for bullshit. You wanted to be a cop, didn't you? I know the type. You're a wannabe.
Oh no! So I guess this is all about the super server, you guys. Oh boy. Yeah, I'll probably give me 1 second. It's so sad, like, and it's so unnecessary, and like, why do people do that? You guys know what doxing is, right? So apparently someone was trying to put out his personal information, which Conscious is very right. Like, there are some crazy nuts out there. That can be dangerous, you guys, dangerous. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining me. No, unless anybody has anything else, I'll see you guys next time. I'm probably going to tune into Conscious a little bit and see if she knows any more about what's going on. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.